All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. All you big bass lovers. I got my camera going all kinds of screwy. There we go. This is the third time that I've recorded this video. The last one, last two. My wife, I got a little too political. She didn't like it. She worries in this date and time that when people are getting in trouble for stuff they say, and people are coming after people for stuff they say, which we're supposed to be able to do in this country. You're supposed to be up there and be able to say whatever the fuck you want. But I digress. And she asked me to take the politics out of it. So I am. Okay. This is something I never thought I was going to have to be doing. I'm actually, I'm actually defending Ben Milliken, or I'm on kind of his side. A lot of people think I don't like him or think I hate him, or I don't hate him. I didn't like his earlier stuff. Well, that's just the camera makes it look like there's something in there. There is. Look at that shit. That's insulation. I was upstairs and messing upstairs. Anyway, sorry about that. My ADHD brain, the butterflyness. So let me give you the backstory first. I used to have another YouTube channel where I did a lot of tournament fishing, where I did a lot of the tournament coverage for ABA and also for some other little local tournaments around. This is going back into the time of Google TV and also the early onset of YouTube. I had a deal. I had several different little deals that I worked out. But one of the main things I was doing back then was lures that just came back on the market. And I was doing a lot with lures. I had a lot of lures reels on my boat. I mean, a shit ton of lures reels on my boat. Well, I guess it was February. I think it was February. Late January, early February of 2014. Yep, 2014. We were living in Burlington, North Carolina. Well, actually, technically Caswell County, way out in the country. A lot of people don't know where Caswell County is, so I always say Burlington. A lot of times they don't know where the fuck that is. Anyway, we had a hot tub. We had a deck on the back of the house. We had a concrete pad. The deck was about, I think it was 11 steps up off the deck, off the pad. So we had an awning that went across the back of the house that covered the back porch. So I go out there to get in the hot tub about 1 o'clock in the morning. I was wearing Crocs. I know it had been raining earlier. Nothing. So I walked outside. It was like between 29 and 31 degrees. Anyway, so I go walking outside. I go out to where the steps are. Haven't had any slipping, nothing so far. And I take the first step and zip, the whole back steps and the whole top of the steps down is covered in black ice. From where it had been like misting, and it like just froze all across the back of the steps. So long story short, I didn't touch nothing until my ass hit the concrete. Well, that's not necessarily true either. My right leg, my right foot got caught in the rafters and bent behind me. And basically separated all my MCLs. But then my ass hit the concrete, and my back hit the steps, and my head hit the steps. I had looked like a horse kicked me in the back of the head. And my whole back was like just black from where I hit the steps. And my ass was purple and black where I hit the concrete. And I was seriously thought, okay, this is where I die. So I kind of just stayed there for about 30 minutes freezing. Just my head was ringing. My whole body was fucking killing me. I couldn't like move my right leg at first. So I was like, okay, I guess this is as good a time as any to die. I mean, they'll come and find my big ass body laying here across the steps. That's what I thought. Anyway, long story short, I didn't die. So I was like, okay, about 30 minutes goes on. I was like, okay, my nuts are starting to get cold. So I better get up and take my ass back inside. So I had to spin around on the steps to get my leg untangled from behind me and out of the rafters on the steps. I broke 3 rafters as well. So I got my leg untangled. I basically hopped back up the steps because I couldn't hardly use my right leg at all. Went in there and laid down on the bed. And then my wife was working 12-hour shifts then. And she comes home and she starts screaming like, what the fuck happened? And I guess I was trying to be my old silly self. And I said, you keep on fucking with me, I'm going to tell everybody you beat me with a baseball bat. And then she was like, you shouldn't be sleeping. You should be at the hospital. And I'm like, because I'm pretty sure from having concussions before, I was pretty sure I had a concussion. Because my head was still like, I was like Bugs Bunny, or not Bugs, the villains in Bugs Bunny, the bad guys, or coyotes, or whatever you want to call them, seeing stars and Tweety birds and shit. Anyway, so she takes me to the hospital, and they basically, they keep me for a couple of days. They had to repair my knee because I couldn't really use my knee. I couldn't really use my leg at all. Had to have surgery on my leg. And then they still want to do surgery on my hip, but haven't let them. I've been seeing a chiropractor quite regularly and just basically trying to take care of it myself, because my SI joint, instead of being like this, went like that. Instead of being like perpendicular to themselves, or parallel to themselves, I should say, not perpendicular like this shit, parallel to themselves, it was sitting kind of on top of each other. So every time I moved, it went click, 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 click. So if I walked more than like 5 or 10 minutes, it felt like my hips were on fire, because it was basically friction for my bones, like click, 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 rubbing together and trying to make a fire inside my hip. Anyway, I was down for about 2.5, 3 years with this shit, because my right leg was fucked up, my back was fucked up, my hip was fucked up. Long story short, when I came back, YouTube had kind of progressed a lot. And I called Luz. I'm like, looking to go ahead and start getting back going again. I want to get back in the pro staff. And they didn't have a space for me. They didn't have a space for me because they gave my space to people like Lojo, people like the Googans, people who were just catering to kids and being silly and stupid. Now, I will admit some of Ben's previous videos I didn't particularly care for, because he wasn't being serious. He was just being silly and just MF for this, MF for that. Nothing about the sport. Fishing to me, another long story short, is very, almost like sacred to me. It's one of my passions, because the other things that I thought I would been doing in this lifetime got taken away from me, like football and fighting. Both those got taken away from me from injuries. I've had 27 surgeries in my 51 years. So to say that I put a beating on this frame is kind of an understatement. But anyway, I digress. So think what I should say, I don't know. Anyway, so I really didn't watch any of his content for a long time, until somebody told me that he's fishing the opens and trying to make bass, and he's actually throwing swim baits. So I'm like, okay, I'll look at some of his stuff. Now, his content's not for everybody, but I respect anybody for getting out there and trying to put the effort in to make real content. Not, I bought the cheapest rod I can at Walmart. Now, can I go break it? Can I do something stupid with it? Let's put the 2 cheapest rods against each other. Let's put a kid's rod versus the cheapest rod. To quote my late Aunt Brenda, motherfucker, please. Stupid. Or bitch, please. Or she said some other stuff too, but I can't say it on here. Because I'm not really that way. Anyway. So, like I said, I didn't watch any of his stuff. And then when I started watching his stuff, I started seeing how people were hating on him. I'm like, why is there so much hate? I mean, yeah, I didn't like the stuff that Googans did or whatever, but I didn't go on their channel and just basically spreading hate. I guess I've never been a keyboard warrior or wherever you want to fuck you call it. That's never really been me, per se. That's not my persona, not anything that I want to be associated with. I'm not a hater. Everybody has a right to do something they want to try to do. And I give it to him. He finished good in the opens. He did, well, not everyone, but he made it where he was actually in the top 15 where he could go fish the bass. Now, how bass works is your first year doesn't really count because they're trying to give you the first year credit. And then the second year, they kind of, if you're not staying in the top 75, you're probably not going to be able to make it back, or they're not going to invite you back, and you're going to have to fight to get back in again. That's happened to a lot of people I know. A lot of pros that I know. Hank Cherry had to do it. Several of them had to do it. They had to keep fighting to stay in until they get to that level where they get their record good enough and they can stay in. That's what it's all about. You have to get your record good enough. You got to stay consistent enough. You have to, it's a grind. It's a fucking grind. I used to like fishing the Strand Series and the Redmond Series and just fishing ABA. I mean, it's a grind just fishing those. I mean, some of those tournaments like 2-3 hours away, 4 hours away. You have to get up at 2 a.m. just so you can go fishing. I mean, a lot of people don't seem to understand what we as tournament fishermen do to stay relevant with the shit. And but I'm gonna get that in a second. But anyway, and then you have like boomers like Randy, or Grandpa Randy, or Uncle Randy, where the fuck you want to call him. And there's several other ones like that hate on anybody that uses forward facing. Forward facing, I've said this to you guys before. I use forward facing. I'm not the best at it, but I'm decent. I know how to look with a fish. I know where to, but I've got so much prior knowledge in my head that I'm always following patterns, and I'm always trying to figure out where the bass are supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. Now, some of these younger fishermen who they go out there and they just use their electronics and they just go out and find where they're at. I can understand Randy's point, but it's still, there's no sense in the hate. There's no sense in this wanting to see somebody fall, wanting to see somebody down and try to kick them when they're down. I mean, I guess I've just never been that person. I've never been that person who wants to try to drag somebody down because I don't go to that level. That's not me. I stand on my own actions. I mean, there was a point in time in my younger life that I was mad at the fucking world, and somebody looked at me wrong. I was trying to fuck them up. I'll be honest. I was in my late teens and early 20s. I was not a nice person. I was kind of an asshole because I blamed everybody else for actions that I chose. And that's one of the things that I think is kind of wrong with our country right now. There's no accountability. There's no making somebody, holding somebody accountable for shit they do. We talk about it, we complain about it, but there's no actions done. I don't understand it no more. Back in my day, a man does something and is proven to do something, especially lying. I mean, come on now. How many times somebody got to lie to you and you still think it's true? Anyway, I told my wife I wasn't going to get down that path. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But you have just as much chance to learn those electronics as those younger fishermen do. You have just as much chance to go out there and catch fish the same way they're catching them. Or sometimes the older patterns, the older techniques still hold relevant and still win tournaments today. Yeah, there is a point in time when the video game fishing was pretty much dominating everything because the only thing you see is a person out there with a spinning rod in their hand is looking at a screen. And it's boring. It's boring to watch. I'll admit to it. It's boring to watch. but I find it intellectual. Excuse me. One thing you'll learn about me, if there's something I don't know, I'm gonna try to find out about it, and I'm gonna try my damnedest to figure it the fuck out, and I'm gonna try to incorporate it to see if it actually makes sense with how I like to fish, to see if it actually helps me, benefits me. That's why you don't see a lot of like fishing videos from me, because when I'm fishing, I got this shit turned on, and it's just go, 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 go. It's not like a lot of people, when they get on the boat with me, I need to stop, and I need to get you guys on the boat with me, and I need to just unplug this. It just starts going in a crazy loop. And sometimes you'll see the top of my boat have 30 rods on it, because I'm just constantly thinking, what do I need to do to fill my limit? That's why my wife told me, she said, because I was thinking about taking you guys, like my pre-fishing and stuff like that. She wants me to just kind of step back from my tournament stuff. Because, to be honest with you, I am, like I told you guys in the other videos, like the closest like tournament lakes to me, I might start fishing like, just doing like Thursday nights and Tuesday nights and things of that nature. But like the closest like tournament style lake from me is like an hour and a half away. And so by the time, like pre-fishing during the week, when I got to take the kids to school and I got to do this, I got to do that, it's just by the time I get them to school and then get there and I get in there and fish a couple of hours, it's time for me to come back and get them, because it's 3 hours of driving. That's just to the closest one. But what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to try to start just getting better with myself. Like when I go out bank fishing with you guys, I think I still got a bunch of bank footage and a couple river footages I need to put on here for you guys. I've never edited them. They're like, one is like almost 8 hours long, and one is it's silly. And I'm just not that good at editing. I'll be honest with you. I'm just not. I'm old. I'm old. Let's just be fucking honest. I'm old. I'm 51. It's not something I grew up with. I've been trying to talk my son into doing it for me, but he don't seem to be too keen on it. I mean, I've even offered to pay him, even though I don't have a big enough channel that makes any money, but I'll pay him. It's something he can learn and something he can maybe move forward with in the future. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, but Milliken, he actually fished 2 years on the circuit. And I know he had sponsors. He had this, that, and the other. But fishing 2 years on it, and then your first year, he did really good his first year. Now his second year, he was like in, I think it was 76th, 77th place. That's where I told you get to that bottom of that cut. You're pretty much, you in that lottery, you're pretty much liable not to be invited back. And you got to fight to get back. And if you stay that way, every year you got to fish the opens. What most tournament anglers fish the opens anyway. That they do. Even KVD back in the day was fishing the opens. Just because it's more money, more notoriety, even though I somewhat feel like, I'm trying to see what that was, I'm sorry. I told you, butterfly brain. It's, when you're at that level, I don't really feel like you should be dropping down and fishing against like people who are not. And there's another thing you have to learn about the whole fishing game, guys. Some of these guys, let's just say this, they don't tell you the whole truth. They don't tell you their whole backstory and how they got there, or what they've done to get there and to stay there. Or they don't tell you about all the help they had along the way. There's some people that make it with zero help, and they struggle and they fight and they claw and they stay there by pure grit and determination. There's some people who are, I'm going to lay the backstory down. Some of you guys know exactly who this is before I even get done with it. Their family owns a bait shop. Their family basically pays for you to go fish tournaments. Their family pays for you. You know what I'm saying. I don't need to keep going. Most people are not afforded that kind of luxury or that kind of like support system. But back when I was fishing like not ABAs, but the Strand and Redmond series when I was going to Alabama and places like that. I had a drop-in camper that went on the back of my truck, and I was basically sleeping where my boat was. Wherever my boat was, I was there, pretty much there. And I always tried to stay at a campground that had a bathroom, because I didn't have. I mean, yeah, I can go out in Mother Nature and take a piss, but when I had to go number two, it was like, okay, when I needed a shower, I need a shower. I didn't have like a really nice either type A, type C, whatever kind of camper, or a fifth wheel or anything like that. I just had a little drop-in camper that my cousin bent the legs on. But anyway, that I had to make do with. And I'm all about, another thing I don't understand about all this hate, and a lot of these people are like, let's just say boomers, just leave it at that. They're kind of people, when you walk up on their boat, they try to cover the screen like, oh, you can't see this. Or they'll go like, oh, you don't see this, there's nothing there. Because they don't want you to see their spots. They'll put the rods, or they won't even get the rods out until they get the boat on the water, because they don't want you to see what they're fishing with, like it means a fucking dip. Because most of the time, at that point in time of the year, a lot of people are fishing with the same shit. Now, there's a couple guys I know, every time they go out there, they're pitching and flipping almost the whole damn time. They ain't doing nothing different. That's all they're doing. Sometimes that's me. I like to go out there and pitch and flip. I like to go out there and turn the fucking electronics off, go down and hit a bunch of laydowns. That's all I do. Hit a bunch of docks. That's all I do. Skip a swim bait up underneath them. That's what I love to do. That's why when the Ozark rig came out, I was like, ooh, this thing's really cool. I like this. And I adopted it really fast into my game. And I'd already adopted the free rig. The free rig was already in my game way before that. A lot of people used to accuse me of like, well, I speak a little bit of Japanese. So I was watching Japanese YouTube before a lot of people were. And, but I don't know what they're saying most of the time. I'll be honest, I don't. But I know when somebody's like holding up a bait and talking about this and talking about that, and I can pretty much figure it the fuck out. So, but there's also something you have to understand. Fishing intuition came from us first. We were already doing it. Now, they might have fine-tuned some of the stuff we were doing, but it came from us first. So, anyway, I guess I'll stop ranting. I'm trying to make sure I don't say the stuff my wife didn't want me to say. I'm just going to leave everything at that. Long story short, there's no room for hate, man. Let shit go. Start holding yourself accountable. Because that's who you need to hold accountable. You need to hold yourself accountable before you hold anybody else accountable. Because if you're not holding yourself accountable and you're always blaming somebody else, you're not going to make it far. You're just not. Because it's easy. It's easier for people to hate and blame somebody else, because that's what the government's made us do to ourselves for a long time. I have to do it again, but I'm not going to do it anymore. But it's just easier to hate than to bring somebody up. Because you're bringing them up, you're still here, and you're bringing them up here, and you're down here, and it's kind of like, it's not as fun for you. I mean, it's easy I used to always love to talk shit and just cut up and cut down contests and all that kind of mess. That's the area I grew up in. But it wasn't full of hate. Back then, you could talk shit and just cut up and act crazy, but it wasn't hating. It was talking shit and fucking around with your buddies or your boys. Or talking shit to people you didn't really know, and sometimes they become your boys. Nowadays, I don't understand what all the hate's about. I just don't. Maybe it's because I'm too damn old. Anyway, guys, till next time, tight lines, y'all stay safe. I'll catch you on the next one. Sorry about the rant video. Some of y'all guys might not like it at all. Some of you guys might want to leave the channel. I understand. But I feel like I need to say it. Yeah, I feel like I need to say it. That's pretty much all. I'm going to leave it as that. And yeah, It's hard for me to keep doing this without making my wife mad at me. But anyway, I'm hoping you guys understand what I'm laying down. Until the next time, I'll catch you on the next one. Hopefully it's more about fishing instead of ranting. Because I've been I've been using the wild side rods. I really, really like them. They're a really good rod for the price. Even at probably twice what I paid for them or more. They're one of the best rods I've used. So much so that I want to order some of their other rods, like a medium heavy, a heavy action rod. I want to try some more. But I still got, this is just a little bit of rods that are still left in here. The rods are back on the boat. I need to take these rods back out of here too and put them in the building. As you can see, some of them still have tags on them and shit, but oh well. All right, guys, till the next one. I done made this too long. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the end.